Welcome to Alcohol and Anime Night. My name's Scott, and tonight we're going to check out an anime about a kid who lives at home and a beer with a fish on it. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to Alcohol and Anime Night, the show that gets you drunker, the show that gets you fatter, and the show that makes you be a lot kinder to your neighbors. Tonight, we're going to dive right into Kotoro Lives Alone. It is a series that you will find on Netflix. It came out this year. It's 10 episodes. It was originally based on a manga that started in 2015, as most anime do these days. It was also adapted into a live action in 2021. I'm sure you did not see it. That was a show that ran in Japan only, I believe. But it may be out there for you to be able to see. I have not seen more than a few minutes of it myself. Let's dive right into it. I'm going to make this as short as possible, so stay with me, buckle up. We're going to go pretty fast on this one. So the entire series is quite short, and it is just a slice of life kind of series. This is not an action show. While it has some comedy, it's not exactly a comedy. It's not a romance. It's just kind of a slice of life type thing. So you need to know that going into it right off the bat. Our main character is Kotaro Sato. He is a kid who talks like a samurai. He lives alone in an apartment. His neighbor is Shin Karino. Shin Karino is a manga artist, and he is constantly being interrupted by this young kid, and eventually kind of takes him under his wing begrudgingly and becomes a sort of almost guardian for him. I don't want to give away too much. Also living in this very strange apartment complex with him is a character called Tamaru. Tamaru dresses a very almost kind of garish dress, very much like a low-level Yakuza might. We never really quite find out what he does, but due to some of the things he says, the way he acts, even his body language, really leads you to believe that he is part of some type of low-level organized crime. So he's an interesting character. Also, in that complex with all of the other people in that apartment is the neighbor Mizuki. She's a host, works at a host club. She also looks shockingly like Nami from One Piece. They were clearly inspired. In any case, the show is just a slice of life like I mentioned. It deals with child neglect and a community coming together in lieu of the actual parents to try to take care of a kid. And it is very interesting as well because it addresses the shortcomings of adults. Instead of showing adults in a, how shall I say, heroic way, it really highlights the shortcomings of adults and how that we actually can learn things from kids. And some of the things that are most gratifying about caring for children is that they will teach you things. They will teach you to see the world differently and teach you that a lot of times you aren't doing things in your life the way that you should be. And that is a really cool message that it has here. Again, I don't want to spoil too much because it is pretty easy to spoil in this one, and they do kind of unpack it slowly throughout the series. What's very funny is that this immediately what I thought of is this is like Friends for poor people, because apartment living is not anything like what they show on sitcoms. It's much more like this, where people are poor and they're kind of coming back and forth, and they're having these adventures, but it's not because they're like the thing of the week. It's actually because when you don't have a lot of money and you're living kind of paycheck to paycheck, these are the kind of adventures you have. And so I thought it was interesting to highlight what apartment living is in Japan versus what we in the West kind of romanticize apartment living to be. And anybody who's lived in New York can tell you it's nothing like what the sitcoms have. I will say this, there's not really a payoff. If you're expecting, once you get watching the show, you're going to be like, okay, I need to watch it to the end to know this. And you will not be given that. That is, and so there's not really a payoff in the way that you're going to be expecting it. That being said, you should still watch it. Now, a lot of people have talked about, is there going to be a second season? Is there going to be this and that? If I was to guess, I would say there probably isn't going to be, and I hope I'm wrong. But this is only 10 episodes. The live action, I believe, only ran the same amount, and the manga I believe is still ongoing, but I have to check on that. I didn't see anything recently coming out about it, but check it out. It's about a solid 6 out of 10, but I think you should still check it out. And it's, you know, if you have Netflix, just check it out. I try every so often to give them give them a fair chance. I've said this before. Netflix anime tends to be like, if I explained to somebody who understood English as a second language, if I explained it to them what anime was, and then they tried to do it based on my explanation, they would do a version of it, and it would be pretty close, but it wouldn't have that spirit. And that's always the way I feel about Netflix anime. It's like they execute it, but it's like it loses some of its soul or some of its spirit in the translation. So I'm not sure how they can overcome that, but there's only been a few Netflix originals that have really just hit the mark and be like, yeah, that's it. And I'm going to say that they're very few. One of them I can recommend very heavily is one called Erased, which we have not yet covered on this channel. And Erased is really cool. It's got a Back to the Future kind of feel to it. It's kind of like Death Note meets Back to the Future kind of thing. It's very interesting. And check that one out on Netflix. If you like this one, you might like that one. That one's kind of got a little bit more of a darker side to it, and it does have a payoff. So check out Erased as well. That's pretty good. Now on to our alcohol for the night. The one I've got is one I picked up in California. It was a gift from Jim, and Jim had this Slammin Salmon from the Mad River Brewing. This is actually brewed in California, in Humboldt County, and he was so nice to give me some of this. I had one a bit earlier. This is a double IPA, so if you like IPAs, it's super IPA. I don't like IPAs, so that's why I'm not drinking it right now. I had one earlier. Yeah, I can confirm it's definitely an IPA. So if you like that strong IPA flavor, if you want the one that's called like Apocalypse or something like that, give this a go. And I just love that it was local and it was some little souvenir from my trip. So give the Slammin Salmon a day in court. And it made me laugh because one of the Broken Lizard films is called Slammin Salmon, and that was one of my favorites. So anyway, check it out. It's worth it if you like IPAs. I don't. I'm going to top everything off tonight. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I'm trying to get these down to a shorter time period. A couple of things that I want to talk about, just some news type things I want to add on here. First of all, I saw that there's a new trailer to MF Ghost that should be coming. They were saying that the show should be coming out in 2023, which is quite soon. If you don't know what MF Ghost means, it is a series that is very closely related to Initial D. So if you like Initial D, you'll like this. It's a more modern version of Initial D. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Search that if you can. And I'll put a link to that trailer down here below as well into the comments. The other thing is that there is some new figures that are out for pre-order. The RE0 folks have put out an Oktoberfest line. So they have all of the characters. They have Ram and Rem, and they actually have 3 characters, I believe, and the newest one is out for pre-order now. If you go to the BBS, it's there. I'll put a link as well. Pretty affordable, pretty cool. I thought it worked well with our alcohol and anime night theme, and we might be doing something with that. So I pre-ordered it because I kind of want it. So anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. It's been a pleasure talking anime with you guys. Kanpai.